The shuttle landed with a soft hum on the landing pad of the Galactic Combat Academy. Maya Chen stood up from her seat and looked out the window. The academy was huge. It sat on a mountain on the planet Thesser Prime. The buildings were made of white stone and dark metal. They stretched toward the purple sky like giant fingers. Maya was 23 years old. She had short black hair and brown eyes. She was not tall. She was not big. She looked very ordinary. But she had something that most people could not see. She had a fire inside her that refused to go out. She was the first human to ever receive a scholarship to the Galactic Combat Academy. Earth had only been part of the galactic community for 12 years. Humans were still new. Most alien species thought of humans as primitive. They thought humans were weak and simple. Some species did not even believe humans were truly intelligent. Maya walked off the shuttle and onto the landing pad. The air smelled strange. It was clean but had a sweet smell she did not recognize. Other students were arriving too. She saw her first aliens up close. The Vectari were the most common. They were tall and had 4 arms. Their skin was hard like the shell of a beetle. It was dark blue or green. They had large heads with big eyes and mandibles instead of mouths. Each one was at least 2 meters tall. Some were even bigger. The Chirrath looked like insects. They had 6 legs and moved very fast. Their bodies clicked and buzzed when they talked. Their eyes were black and shiny like glass. The Eloni were beautiful in a strange way. They were tall and thin with silver skin. They moved like dancers. Maya had read that they had telekinetic powers. They could move things with their minds. And then there was Maya. Small, soft, no natural weapons, no special powers. A Vectari student walked past her. He was bigger than the others. His shell was dark green and had small scars on it. He stopped and looked down at Maya. His mandibles clicked together. "You are the human," he said. His voice was deep and rough. "Yes," Maya said. She kept her voice calm. "I am Torek. My family has sent warriors to this academy for 8 generations. He leaned down closer to her. "You do not belong here." Maya did not step back. She looked up at him. "The academy accepted me, so I belong here." Torek made a sound that was like laughter, but not friendly. "We will see how long you last, human." He walked away. Other students had stopped to watch. Some of them were laughing too. Maya picked up her bag and walked toward the main building. She did not let them see that her hands were shaking. The orientation was held in a large hall. Hundreds of students sat in rows of seats. Maya found a seat in the back. She did not want to draw attention to herself. An old Vectari walked onto the stage. He had many scars on his shell. One of his 4 arms was mechanical. His name was Instructor Velnash. He was the head combat instructor. "Welcome to the academy," he said. His voice was hard like stone. "You are here because you want to become warriors. Some of you will succeed. Many of you will fail. The galaxy is dangerous. War is coming. We do not have time for weakness." He talked for a long time about the academy rules and training schedule. Maya listened carefully and remembered everything. After the speech, each student had to register their combat profile. This was a file that listed their species, their natural abilities, and their fighting skills. Maya stood in line and waited. When it was her turn, she sat down at a computer terminal. The Academy AI scanned her and asked her questions. "Species, human," the AI said. "Natural weapons, none detected. Natural armor, none detected. Venom or poison, none detected. Telekinetic ability, none detected. Special sensory abilities, none detected." The AI was quiet for a moment. It seemed confused. "Combat classification. Unable to determine. Please describe your species' combat abilities." Maya thought about this. What could she say? Humans did not have claws or fangs. They could not fly or run very fast compared to other species. They were not very strong. Persistence hunting, Maya said. Humans can track prey for long distances. We do not stop. We can keep going when other species must rest. Noted, the AI said. Pattern recognition. Humans are good at seeing patterns. We can predict what enemies will do by watching them carefully. Noted. Improvised tool use. Humans can use anything as a weapon or tool. We adapt to our environment. Noted. Adaptability under stress. Humans perform well in dangerous situations. Fear makes us more focused, not less. The AI was quiet again. Then it made a decision. Combat abilities classified as Earth skills. Maya stared at the screen. Earth skills, that was all. After everything she said, the AI had just lumped it all together into one vague category. She stood up and walked away. Behind her, she heard other students looking at her file. Earth skills, someone said. What does that even mean? It means nothing, another voice said. It means she has no real abilities. Maya kept walking. She found her room and put her bag on the bed. The room was small but clean. There was a window that looked out over the training fields. She stood at the window and watched the other students. The Vectari were practicing with weapons that looked like they weighed as much as Maya herself. The Chirroth were sparring with such speed that Maya could barely see their movements. The Eloni were lifting heavy objects with their minds and throwing them at targets. Maya looked down at her own hands, small, weak, human. But she did not feel despair. She felt something else. She felt the fire inside her burn a little brighter. Her grandmother had told her stories when she was young. Stories about how humans had survived on Earth. They had survived ice ages and famines. They had fought animals with nothing but rocks and sticks. They had spread across the entire planet, not because they were the strongest, but because they refused to give up. We are survivors, her grandmother had said. That is what we are. That is what we have always been. Maya looked out at the training fields one more time. Then she turned away and began to unpack her things. Tomorrow, training would begin. Tomorrow, she would show them what Earth skills really meant. She just had to survive long enough to prove it. The class laughed at her Earth skills. She beat the instructor using nothing but a shattered chair leg. Part 2. The Lesson. The first week of training was the hardest week of Maya's life. Every morning started at dawn. The students ran 10 kilometers around the academy grounds. For the Vectari, this was easy. Their 4 legs carried them fast and steady. For the Chirroth, it was even easier. They moved like water flowing downhill. Even the thin Aeloni kept pace without much effort. Maya struggled. Her legs burned. Her lungs felt like they were on fire. She finished last every single day. But she finished. She never stopped. After running came strength training. The students lifted weights and moved heavy objects. The Vectari could lift things that Maya could not even push. She used the smallest weights in the training room. Some students laughed at her. Torek made sure to train near her so he could make comments. "Look at the human," he would say to his friends. "She lifts the weight of a small child. Very impressive." Maya did not respond. She just kept lifting. After strength training came combat practice. This was where Maya suffered the most. In the first sparring session, she was matched against a Chirroth named Crix. The fight lasted 4 seconds. Crix moved so fast that Maya did not see the first hit coming. She was on the ground before she understood what had happened. The medical drone fixed her broken nose and sent her back to training. In the second session, she fought a Vectari, not Torek, but one of his friends. He hit her once with his lower right arm. Maya flew backward and crashed into the wall. She had 3 cracked ribs. The medical drone fixed her ribs and sent her back to training. By the end of the first week, Maya had lost 11 sparring matches. She had spent more time in the medical bay than in her own room. Her body was covered in bruises, every part of her hurt, but she kept going. And while she lost, she watched. She watched everything. She noticed that Crix, the Cheer-Roth, always attacked in a pattern. Strike, strike, pause, strike. There was a half-second gap between the second and third hit. It was small, but it was there. She noticed that the Vectari always shifted their weight to their back left leg before they lunged forward. It was how their bodies worked. They could not help it. She noticed that the Aeloni lost focus when they were angry or upset. Their telekinetic powers became weaker when their emotions were strong. Maya noticed everything. She remembered everything. In the second week, she started to change how she fought. She stopped trying to match her opponents in strength or speed. She could not win that way. Instead, she started to move differently. She stayed low. She moved in strange patterns. She did not fight the way the Academy taught. She still lost. But she lost more slowly. "You lasted 8 seconds against Crix today," Instructor Velnash said after training one day. He had stopped Maya as she walked toward the medical bay. "Is that a compliment, sir?" Maya asked. "It is an observation. Last week you lasted 4 seconds. You are improving." "Not fast enough." Velnash tilted his head. His one good eye studied her. "Most humans wash out by now. They quit. They go home. You are still here?" "Should I not be?" "I did not say that." He paused. "What are you doing differently?" Maya thought about how to answer. "I am watching," she said finally. "Learning. Finding patterns." "Patterns? Everyone has patterns. The way they move, the way they think, the way they fight. If you watch long enough, you can see them." Velnash made a low sound in his throat. It might have been interest. "And what patterns have you found?" "The Cheer-Rath attack in sequences. Strike, strike, pause, strike. The pause is their weakness. If I can survive long enough to reach the pause, I have a chance." "A chance to do what?" "You cannot hit hard enough to hurt a Cheer-Rath." "No," Maya agreed. "But I can move. I can get inside their guard during the pause. Once I am close, their speed does not help them. They need distance to strike." Velnash was quiet for a moment. "That is interesting thinking." "On Earth," Maya said, "we did not survive by being the strongest. We survived by being smart, by watching, by learning, by adapting." "Earth skills," Velnash said. The words sounded different when he said them, less like a joke. "Yes, sir. Earth skills." She walked away to the medical bay. Behind her, Velnash watched her go. That night, Maya stayed late in the training room. She practiced alone against a holographic opponent. She ran the same drills over and over. She was trying to build new instincts, human instincts. The door opened. Velnash walked in. "You should rest," he said. "Your body needs time to heal." "I will rest when I am dead," Maya said. She did not stop her drill. "That might be sooner than you think if you keep training like this." Maya finally stopped. She turned to face him. "Why are you here, sir?" Velnash walked closer. He watched her for a long moment. "I have trained warriors from 47 different species. I have seen every fighting style in the known galaxy, but I have never seen anyone fight the way you are trying to fight." "Is that a problem?" "No. It is curious." He paused. "You do not think like a warrior. You think like a predator. You look for weakness. You study your prey. You wait for the right moment. On Earth, we used to hunt animals much bigger and faster than us. We could not catch them in a straight chase, so we tracked them. We followed them. We waited until they were tired or hurt or distracted. Then we struck." "Persistence hunting," Velnash said. "I read about it in your file. I thought it was primitive." "It is primitive," Maya said. "But it worked. We survived. The animals did not." Velnash was quiet again. Then he did something unexpected. He picked up a training weapon and stepped onto the practice floor. "Show me," he said. "Show me what you have learned." Maya stared at him. "Sir? You have been watching everyone for 2 weeks. You must have watched me too. Show me what you have seen." Maya's heart beat faster. This was dangerous. Velnash was not a student. He was a master warrior. He had fought in real wars, but she had watched him. She had noticed things. She picked up her training blade and faced him. The fight lasted 30 seconds. Velnash beat her easily, but she made him work for it. When she was on the ground, he stood over her. There was something in his eyes that had not been there before. "You saw my weakness," he said. "You went for my mechanical arm. You knew it was slower than my other arms." Maya nodded. She was breathing hard. "No one has noticed that in 5 years." He held out his real hand to help her up. "Keep watching, human. Keep learning. You may survive longer than I thought." Maya took his hand and stood up. For the first time since she arrived at the academy, she felt hope. The class laughed at her earth skills. She beat the instructor using nothing but a shattered chair leg. Part 3. The Challenge. 6 weeks passed. Maya lost count of how many times she visited the medical bay. She lost count of how many bones she broke, how many cuts she received, how many bruises covered her body. But she kept going. She never quit. And slowly, very slowly, she started to improve. She still could not beat the top students. But she was not losing in seconds anymore. Her fights lasted minutes now. She learned to dodge, to move, to survive. She learned to make her opponents work for their victories. But Torek made sure her life remained difficult. He was not just a bully. He was smart about it. He organized the other students to exclude Maya from study groups. When they had team exercises, no one wanted to be on her team. When she sat down to eat in the cafeteria, other students would move away. "You are not one of us," Torek told her one day. "You will never be one of us. You are a primitive from a primitive world. Go home." Maya did not go home. In their sparring matches, Torek was especially cruel. He did not just try to win. He tried to hurt her. He broke her arm in one match. He cracked her skull in another. Each time, he claimed it was an accident. Each time, the instructors believed him. "You should report him," another student told her once. She was an Iolani named Saria. She was one of the few students who did not treat Maya badly. "He is targeting you." "I know," Maya said, "but reporting him would not change anything. His family is powerful. The academy needs their money." "Then what will you do?" Maya looked at Saria. There was something cold in her eyes. "I will wait." The midterm evaluations came at the end of the 8th week. Every student was ranked based on their performance. The bottom 10% would be sent to remedial training. The bottom 5% might be expelled. Maya was ranked last. She was not surprised. She had known this would happen. She could not match the other students in raw combat ability. No matter how much she improved, she was still human. She was still small and weak compared to them. But the rankings also brought an opportunity. An old academy tradition called the challenge match. Any student could challenge another student to a formal fight. If the lower-ranked student won, they would take the higher-ranked student's position. It was a way for ambitious students to move up quickly. It was also very dangerous. Instructor Vel Nash announced the challenge matches in the training hall. If anyone wishes to issue a challenge, now is the time. Several students raised their hands. Challenges were made. Fights were scheduled. Then Maya raised her hand. The room went quiet. "Cadet Chen," Vel Nash said, "you wish to issue a challenge?" "Yes, sir." "To whom?" Maya took a deep breath. "I challenge Torek." For a moment there was silence. Then the laughter started. It was loud and cruel. Students from every species laughed at her. Even some of the instructors smiled. Torek stood up from his seat. He was ranked third in the class. He was one of the best fighters in the academy. The idea that Maya could beat him was absurd. "I accept," Torek said. His mandibles spread wide in a grin. "This will be entertaining." The laughter grew louder. Velnash raised his hand for silence. The room went quiet again. "Cadet Chen," he said. His voice was careful. "You understand what you are doing? Torek is ranked third. You are ranked last. The difference between you is significant." "I understand, sir. If you lose, there will be consequences. You may be injured seriously. You may be expelled for poor judgment." "I understand, sir." Velnash studied her face. He was looking for fear. He was looking for doubt. He did not find any. "Very well. The match will be scheduled for now," Maya said. "I want to fight now." Another wave of laughter filled the room. "Now?" Velnash repeated. "You want no time to prepare?" "If I have time to prepare, I will think about it too much. I will become afraid. I want to fight now, while I still have the courage." This was partly true, but there was another reason Maya wanted to fight immediately. She had been preparing for this fight for weeks. She had watched Torek in every training session. She had memorized his patterns. She knew his weaknesses. But he did not know that she knew. If she waited, he might figure it out. He might prepare for her tactics. She needed to fight him now before he could adapt. Velnash looked at Torek. "Do you agree to fight now?" Torek laughed. "Why not? This will take less than a minute. I do not need to prepare to crush an insect." More laughter from the students. "Very well," Velnash said. "Clear the training floor. Standard rules. First to yield or incapacitation. Training weapons only." The students moved to the edges of the room. Maya and Torek walked to the center of the training floor. Maya's heart was beating fast. Her hands were shaking slightly, but she controlled her breathing. She pushed the fear down deep inside her. This was it. This was the moment she had been waiting for. Torek selected his weapon. It was a HFY War staff. It was 2 meters long and made of heavy metal. In his 4 hands, it was a deadly weapon. He could use all 4 arms to strike, block, and spin the staff in complicated patterns. Maya selected a training blade. It was short and light. It was the only weapon she could use effectively. They faced each other across the training floor. Torek looked down at her. "Any last words, human?" Maya looked up at him. She remembered every time he had hurt her. She remembered every insult. She remembered every bruise and every broken bone. "Yes," she said. "I am going to enjoy this." Torek laughed. Velnash raised his hand. "Begin." The class laughed at her earth skills. She beat the instructor using nothing but a shattered chair leg. Part 4. The Fight. Torek attacked first. He moved faster than Maya expected. His war staff spun through the air in a blur of metal. His 4 arms worked together in a deadly dance. The first strike came at her head, the second at her ribs, the third at her legs. Maya dodged the first strike. She blocked the second with her blade, but the third hit her knee. Pain exploded through her leg. She stumbled backward. Torek pressed forward. His staff whistled through the air again and again. Maya retreated. She could not match his strength. She could not match his speed. Every time their weapons met, the impact nearly tore the blade from her hands. Her arms ached. Her knee throbbed. The students watched in silence. They had expected a quick fight, but Maya was still standing, still moving, still fighting. Torek growled in frustration. "Stand still and die with honor, human." Maya did not answer. She was too busy surviving. She watched his movements. She remembered everything she had learned about him. He was aggressive. He liked to overwhelm opponents with power and speed. He did not like long fights. And there it was, the pattern she had noticed weeks ago. When Torek prepared to lunge, he always shifted his weight to his back left leg. It was small. Most opponents would never see it. But Maya saw it. She waited. She let him push her back. She let him think he was winning. Then Torek shifted his weight. He was preparing for a powerful lunge, a killing blow. Maya moved. She did not try to block. She did not try to retreat. Instead, she ran toward him. Torek was surprised. No one ran toward a charging Vektari. It was suicide, but Maya was not trying to fight him. She was trying to get past him. She dropped low and slid under his strike. The staff passed over her head by centimeters. She felt the wind of it on her hair. Then she was behind him. For one moment, she had an advantage. Torek was off balance from his lunge. His back was exposed. Maya swung her blade at his leg joint. The armor there was thinner. It was a weakness she had noticed in training. Her blade hit. It did not cut deep, but it cut. Green blood appeared on Torek's leg. He roared and spun around. His staff caught Maya in the chest and threw her across the room. She hit the ground hard. The air left her lungs. Her training blade flew from her hand and skidded across the floor. But she had hurt him. She had drawn first blood. The students murmured in surprise. No one had expected this. Maya tried to stand. Her chest hurt badly. Something might be broken. But she forced herself up. Her blade was too far away. She would never reach it before Torek reached her. So she looked around for something else. The chairs. The observer chairs were just a few meters away. Maya ran to the chairs. Torek charged after her. He was limping slightly from the cut on his leg, but he was still fast, still deadly. Maya grabbed a chair. She could not lift it. It was too heavy, but she did not need to lift it. She braced her foot against the seat and pulled on one of the legs. The polymer material bent. Then it broke. The chair leg came off in her hands with a sharp, jagged edge. "Improvised weapons are against the rules," a student shouted. "No," Velnash said. His voice was calm but loud enough for everyone to hear. "Not in challenge matches. All weapons are allowed." Torek stopped. He looked at the broken chair leg in Maya's hand. His mandibles clicked together. "A chair leg?" he said. "You want to fight me with a chair leg?" Maya did not answer. She held the jagged piece of polymer in both hands. It was not a proper weapon, but it was something, and humans had been killing things with improvised weapons for 200,000 years. Torek attacked again. But something was different now. He was more careful. He was confused. This was not how fights were supposed to go. When opponents lost their weapons, they were supposed to yield. They were not supposed to break furniture. Maya used his confusion. She attacked. She did not fight like the training manuals taught. She did not use the forms and stances she had learned. She fought like something wild, like something desperate, like something that refused to die. She was small. She used that. She stayed low. She moved in unpredictable ways. She used the environment. She bounced off the walls. She threw debris at Torek's face to distract him. She did everything she could to survive. Torek grew angry. His attacks became wider, stronger, less controlled. He was using raw power instead of technique. Maya watched. She waited. She remembered that Vektari had a blind spot. Their eyes were positioned on the sides of their heads. They could not see well in their lower left area. It was small, but it was there. She remembered that their leg joints were weak points. The nerve clusters behind their knees were sensitive. She remembered everything. Torek swung his staff in a massive overhead strike. He was putting all his power into it. He wanted to crush her. Maya moved to his lower left, into his blind spot. She dropped and rolled forward. For one moment, she was inside his guard. She was close to his body. His staff was useless this close. He could not swing it. She had one chance. Maya drove the jagged chair leg into the nerve cluster behind his lowest knee. She pushed with all her strength. The sharp edge cut through the thin armor and into the soft tissue beneath. Torek screamed. The sound was terrible. It was a sound of real pain, real agony. His leg collapsed under him. He fell to the floor. Maya did not stop. She could not stop. She climbed onto his back and pressed the bloody chair leg against the soft skin under his mandible. One push and she would cut his throat. "Yield," she said. Her voice was rough. She was breathing hard. Blood dripped from cuts on her face and arms. Torek tried to move. Maya pressed harder with the chair leg. "Yield," she said again. The room was completely silent. Every student, every instructor, everyone was watching. Torek's mandibles clicked together weakly. "I yield," he whispered. Maya stayed where she was for a moment. Her body was shaking. The adrenaline was still pumping through her veins. Then she stood up and stepped back. Torek lay on the floor. The great Vektari warrior, defeated by a human with a chair leg. Maya looked down at him. She thought she would feel happy, triumphant. Instead, she just felt tired. "Maya Chen wins," Velnash announced. His voice was strange. "By submission." The silence continued for a long moment. Then, slowly, a sound started. It was not laughter this time. It was something else. Applause. Someone was clapping. Maya looked up. It was Saria, the Aeloni. She was standing and clapping. Then another student joined her, then another, then more. Not everyone clapped. Some students still looked shocked. Some looked angry, but many were clapping. Maya did not smile. She did not celebrate. She just stood there, holding her bloody chair leg, trying to stay on her feet. She had won. She had actually won. The class laughed at her earth skills. She beat the instructor using nothing but a shattered chair leg. Part 5. The Human. The medical drone reached Maya first. It scanned her body and made urgent beeping sounds. 3 cracked ribs, a fractured wrist, multiple cuts and bruises, internal bleeding in 2 places. Maya did not care. She was still standing. That was all that mattered. Instructor Velnash walked onto the training floor. He looked at Torek, who was being treated by his own medical drone. Then he looked at Maya. His expression was hard to read. There was surprise there, and something else, something that might have been respect. "Cadet Chen," he said, "explain your strategy." Maya took a breath. It hurt. Everything hurt. But she answered. "Torek is stronger than me, faster than me, better trained than me." She paused to breathe again. "I could not beat him in a fair fight. So I did not fight fair." The chair leg? On Earth we have a saying, "The weapon is the hand is the weapon." Maya looked at the broken piece of polymer still in her grip. Anything can be a tool if you need it badly enough. A rock, a stick, a chair leg. Humans have been fighting with improvised weapons since the beginning. It is in our blood. Velnash nodded slowly. "And his weakness? The nerve cluster in his leg? How did you know about that?" "I watched him. For weeks I watched everyone. I memorized how they move, where their armor is thick, where it is thin, where their bodies are strong and where they are weak." Maya finally let the chair leg drop from her hand. Humans are good at this. Pattern recognition, observation. We see things that others miss. Velnash was quiet for a moment. The other students were still watching. The applause had stopped, but no one had left. "I want everyone to listen carefully," Velnash said. He turned to face the class. His voice was loud and commanding. "The Galactic Archives classify humans as Class 12 Deathworlders. This classification is based on their planet of origin. Earth has extreme temperature variations, it has natural disasters, it has dangerous predators." He paused. "I always thought this classification was exaggerated. Earth's gravity is only slightly above galactic average. Its atmosphere is standard. Its predators are small compared to other death worlds. I thought humans were simply lucky to have survived their planet." He turned back to Maya. "I was wrong." The students shifted nervously. Velnash had never admitted being wrong about anything. "The danger of humans is not their planet. It is what their planet did to them. Evolution on Earth did not give humans natural weapons, no claws, no venom, no armor. Instead, it gave them something else, something more dangerous. He pointed at Maya. It gave them this, the ability to look at any situation and find an advantage, the ability to use anything as a weapon, the ability to study an enemy and find weaknesses that the enemy did not know existed, the ability to keep fighting when all logic says they should stop. Maya swayed slightly. The medical drone beeped urgently. It wanted her to go to the medical bay. She ignored it. I have fought in 3 wars, Velnash continued. I have seen warriors from every major species in the galaxy. The Vectari are strong. The Chirroth are fast. The Eloni have their minds. But none of them fight like this human fought today. He looked around the room at his students. Humans do not fight like warriors. They fight like survivors. They do whatever it takes to win. They break rules. They improvise. They refuse to accept defeat even when defeat is certain. This makes them unpredictable. This makes them dangerous. He turned back to Maya one last time. Out there, in the dark between stars, battles are not won by the strongest or the fastest. They are won by those who refuse to die, those who adapt, those who keep fighting when everyone else has given up. Maya felt her legs growing weak. The adrenaline was fading. The pain was getting worse. But she stayed standing. She would not fall. Not now. Not in front of everyone. Cadet Chen, Velnash said, report to the medical bay. And when you recover, report to my office. I want to update your combat profile. My combat profile, sir? Yes. Earth skills does not begin to cover what I saw today. We need a new classification. Maya almost smiled. Almost. The medical drone finally took her arm and started to guide her toward the door. She walked slowly. Every step was painful. As she passed through the crowd of students, something unexpected happened. Saria stepped forward and touched Maya's shoulder gently. Well thought, she said softly. Then another student nodded at her, then another. Not all of them. Many still looked at her with hostility or confusion. But some of them looked at her differently now. They looked at her with respect. Maya walked out of the training hall and into the corridor. The medical drone guided her toward the medical bay. Behind her, she could hear Velnash dismissing the class. She could hear the buzz of conversation. Everyone was talking about what had just happened. Maya smiled. It hurt her face to smile, but she did it anyway. She had come to this academy as a joke, a diversity admission, a primitive from a primitive world. Everyone had expected her to fail. Everyone had expected her to quit. She had not quit. She had shown them something today. Something important. Humans were not the strongest species in the galaxy. They were not the fastest or the smartest or the most gifted. But they had survived ice ages and famines and wars. They had spread across their world and then reached for the stars. Not because they were powerful, but because something inside them refused to accept limits. The galaxy was vast and dangerous. There were species out there with weapons that could destroy planets. There were threats that humanity could barely imagine, but Maya was not afraid. She had faith in her species, in the stubborn, reckless, impossible humans who never knew when to give up. The galaxy would learn about them. The galaxy would learn what Earth skills really meant. Maya reached the medical bay and lay down on a bed. The medical machines hummed around her, healing her wounds. She closed her eyes and slept, and in her dreams she saw a future where humans stood among the stars as equals, as warriors, as survivors, as exactly what they had always been. The medical drone beeped quietly and continued its work. Outside the window, the purple sky of Thessar Prime slowly darkened into night. And somewhere in the academy, students were still talking about the human who had beaten a Vectari warrior with nothing but a broken chair leg. This was only the beginning.